So, first question is, what made you hire me? How did you decide to get in touch? Because you were saying before there were lots of different other coaches and companies you were looking at.
Yeah. Well, I think what's important to say is that 1 year ago, when I first started to look into these things, I was not in a good place. I had social anxiety, especially with women. I was struggling with women and getting to connect with women the way I wanted. So I was actually really determined to change this around. I was so determined that I was actually looking to go there by myself and just hit the clubs, hit the bars, hit the streets, and whatever I could find to speak to women in order to improve. I was really determined.
Right.
And when I started to do that, I've actually started to research online to see how other people have done it, if other people are doing it, see what kind of support I could get.
Yeah. So you didn't know about? Did you know about coaching at the time? You know, there's people teaching.
I knew there were materials, but I was slowly finding out more and more. I was finding out that London had a big culture, a big group of people that were actually providing this kind of service, but they didn't seem all that trustworthy. I mean, I've looked at a lot of other people, and they didn't inspire that kind of confidence for me that would actually make me comfortable enough to work with them and give them my money and that kind of thing. Whereas when I saw your videos, which were about by accident, I just saw a guy who's just hitting the streets, having fun, just walking up to a woman, saying, giving her a nice compliment, she reacting positively, and it was all in good fun and all really, really positive emotions. And that felt like I wanted to be a part of that. I just wanted to experience that.
Wow. We did the first session, if you remember. We did the 2-hour taster.
Yeah.
How was that, honestly? How was that experience, the first 2 hours?
That was actually pretty great. I mean, the first thing is, that's the great part about you, and it was one of the sticking points that actually drew me into choosing your program, because I saw you were offering no engagement 2-hour session, which was essentially just, you know, like a free way of seeing what this is all about, and if I don't like it, I can just walk away. And for the price at that time, it wasn't really that much, so I was willing to give it a shot, and that's actually what made it really easy for me to just contact you.
So affordability for you?
Yeah, affordability, and also the fact that you don't have to engage to something like a massive sum of money without
you're not committing, are you? You're not forced to commit.
Exactly, because as I said, I got the feeling from other people that it was a bit of a, you know, money grab, and didn't feel confident. Whereas
you could probably feel with me that obviously it wasn't just about the money. It's that I generally enjoy doing this, and I enjoy helping people because I had social anxiety myself. I struggle with women really bad, so
exactly. And if you're confident enough in your product and in what you're offering, your teachings,
you don't really need to sell it too much, do you?
Yeah, you just can get it right away, and definitely it was a major sticking point for me.
Do you remember, sorry, what we did in the first session?
The first session was amazing. Actually, I think it was the best session of them all.
That's unusual, because usually guys find the first session the hardest with me.
It was the hardest.
Because they're quite nervous, they don't know what to expect.
It was the hardest, but it was a session after which I felt the best I was feeling in a long time. It was just, we walked up to girls, just gave them compliments. And I went from a place of fearing their reaction and not believing that it was actually possible to just walk up to a stranger, give her a compliment from a place of truth. I mean, I was actually meaning the compliments that I was giving.
So would you say that you were being yourself, Silver? You weren't using
I
any tricks or pick-up lines?
Yeah, I was becoming more to be myself.
Did you kind of know before you started this that was what you needed to do? Does that make sense?
No.
So you kind of thought you needed technique, you needed structure, you needed kind of tricks?
Yeah, exactly, because I didn't think that you can achieve such good results with just being yourself, just being honest.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. I thought that everyone who was good, and it can appear that way, because everyone who is actually good at connecting with people has its own flair, has its own charm.
Yeah.
And what you tend to see at first is the little jokes he says, the little things he does, and you kind of associate that with his success.
Yeah.
But
you think his personality, as you said, is his techniques.
Yeah.
But it's not his techniques, it's his actual personality behind his personality.
Exactly. And I think once you're feeling good about yourself, you can develop your own technique, and you can go forward in that. direction.
So you did the first session, you came away. What did you think? Did you think, right, I want to commit to the 6 weeks program?
Yeah,
I definitely want to.
Totally. I mean, the first session was amazing. I got so many nice conversations, and I got to feel so great.
Yeah.
That, you know, it was not just learning; it was also having fun.
Yeah, yeah. You've talked about that a lot. I forget that myself sometimes. It is about having fun.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was having fun. It was one of the most fun things I did last year.
The BS. How was your progress when we started the program? What were the sort of changes?
At first, it was hard.
Yeah,
it was
it is
really
hard at first,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
And you noticed it as well.
Yeah.
The first session was really great. The second, third, maybe even the fourth, I was struggling.
I know why it's hard, but for guys who are watching that might want to do the program or they want to learn this, why was it hard? To state the obvious, why was it hard?
Because you gotta get in contact with yourself in a way. Because while you're doing this, you're still struggling with your old self, and you're still battling that old self.
Right.
It's hard to open up to someone, and it's hard to actually be. How should I say this? You know, to be true to someone when you go approach a girl, when you go speak to her.
I think
it's hard to open up in that sense, and as you keep doing it, you're getting better at this.
I think what you're saying is basically you learn to trust yourself.
Yeah.
And then you don't really need to trust other people. You can connect with women easier as a result.
The thing is, at first, it is terrifying. Like, it is a terrifying experience to walk up to someone and just, you know, enter a conversation and do that kind of thing. But I think one of my the points I'm most proud about myself is that no matter how terrified I was still doing it.
You still did
I was still doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it.
The whole title of Susan Jess's Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Yeah.
You're feeling fear, you're afraid, but you're still doing it.
Yeah. So I just kept doing it, and I think that's what actually got me there. Ultimately, it was just the fact that I just kept at it. So I think after 5 sessions, about the 5th session,
5 sessions in.
Yeah, that's when I felt I was really getting to understand what this is all about and how I should be.
Yeah.
And it was actually a great breakthrough. And I've actually started going on dates. Started dating one girl after the 4th session. Actually,
I was going to actually come to that and say, what were the results that you got? The actual, tangible results from.
So at that time, at that point, I can't say. I think I needed a bit more time after the 6 weeks in order to get to the point where I am now, and I think it materialized a lot more during the next months that followed.
Because we've actually done a 12-week program, haven't we? We did 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
You went away, had a break, processed it, came back, and then we've done another 6 weeks. We went into the clubs as well. We went off the street into the nightclubs.
Exactly.
We went more deeper, a little bit more the spiritual aspects.
But after the 6 weeks, I was already going out with this lovely girl for about 2 months. It was a wonderful experience.
That's fantastic.
It was amazing, and it actually helped me a lot in growing more confident and going on this path.
So you actually got the results that most guys are dying to get or too afraid to get. You actually were dating a girl of your choice.
Yeah.
Where did you meet?
From the street.
You met from the street?
Yeah, on the street.
Wow.
It was in one of our sessions.
I think that's even better
because
you did it by yourself outside. A lot of guys are worried they're going to take coaching, and maybe when they go off by themselves, they won't be able to get the results. So.
Well, again, it was hard. It was really hard doing it without you. Because
I know how hard it is because I had to myself doing it by myself as well, without Floyd or out a teacher. Same as you, I was very scared.
What's really good about you is that you helped me a lot to open up a lot more. So when I'm with you and we're having a nice time, we're having nice conversations.
We practice together, don't we? We build a friendship as well.
Essentially, we get to. I get to be more open, but when you're by yourself, that's a real struggle. That's the real test.
As you said, there's kind of no one to open up to. You kind of need me as a placebo or a good wingman. You need a coach to kind of practice opening up on. Then you can do that onto the girls.
Yeah, but that's why I wanted to do it by myself, because I didn't want to be dependent on someone being there. And again, it comes in the same mindset. Doesn't matter if you're paralyzed with fear, you just do it.
Yeah.
And I just kept
and
doing
it. You get less scared every time, don't you?
Yeah.
People think fear goes away, but it doesn't really go away.
It doesn't really go away.
You just manage it better.
Yeah.
You know?
I
tell the guys I still feel the fear, but I just manage it to such a degree. It doesn't look like I have it. You know? Sometimes you don't have it. You know?
But you manage it.
Well, amazing. So how did you improve in the long term, Sylvia? You talked about some of the results you got,
Yeah.
sort of the quick fix. What about the long-term results?
Well, I think that's the most important part, and I think that's what actually helped me the most. I didn't I didn't see that like that when we finished the 6-week session. I didn't see it that way. I didn't see that. I thought, oh my God, I've lost Johnny now. What am I going to do?
Did I say it to you, if I can remember? Did I say that you would improve more later on without
Yeah,
me? You would
you
see
did.
more growth.
You
I think
did.
I did say that to
Well,
you.
conditioned to the fact that I would actually keep practicing and keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
guys forget that. Guys need to, when you do coaching, you have to keep practicing. A lot of people think you get a coach and then you just get results, you stop. But you have to practice for the rest of your life, really.
And I think you're right. I think it's a process that lasts the rest of your life.
Yeah,
But you can get to a point
You
where
can
you're
be happy and
with
stop,
yourself.
can't you?
Yeah. But you don't want to stop after you do
No,
it.
no.
Because you just
I'm
keep
still
on
learning. I'm
improving.
growing. I learn from you guys when I teach. I'm still growing myself.
So in the months to come after the session, I just went out to meet people in all the occasion, not just the street,
Do you
everywhere.
want to talk about that with the guys? It wasn't just going out on the street. Some guys think that it's day game. This is a social
Pretty
thing.
much.
This is everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much I went everywhere I could. It's not a question of
There's no limitations, is
no
there?
limitation.
No.
I wasn't doing it in a certain way. I wasn't preparing myself in a certain way. I wasn't doing anything in a certain way. I was just going out on the streets, in clubs, at social events, even at work, and just trying to apply the principles that we learned to be more open, to be more honest,
Yeah.
and to speak from a place of, truth, of honesty.
So the three principles: speaking from openness, honesty, and truth.
Exactly, and not be
Right.
afraid to show if I fancy a girl, not being afraid to show that to her.
Yeah.
And
Do you want to talk about that more? Because guys get confused with that. They think that they can't go up to a girl and show their intentions. They need to kind of hide it, you know.
but
You talk
I
about
used to think that. I used to think
I did
again.
as well.
I used to think
the
as
sort
well.
of old school, sort of nice guy who
Yeah.
supplicates, doesn't say
You
what
have
he
to
wants.
pretend in a way of something. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to find
You've got
a
to
reason
hide your
to,
attraction. Where
Yeah,
we
you
don't
have-
do that.
You have to find a reason to go to her. It
Yeah.
has to be a pretext, like, oh, I noticed that thing on you, I like, or something. Or when you're inviting her, you have to have reason to do all these things. That was the misconceptions I had before doing this, and it's actually a really, really nice realization to come upon the fact that you can actually walk up to someone, and if you're stating it with honesty and
Yeah.
you have socially calibrated enough to manage her insecurities about meeting someone new, and
Yeah. It's interesting you said that, sorry to cut you, that you have to manage the other person's insecurities, especially girls. Because guys forget that when you stop a girl, sometimes she's nervous. Most guys think, what about me? I'm nervous. But she's nervous too. So you've got to manage her nervousness, make her comfortable.
Exactly, and this is what happened after I've started to manage my nervousness. I started to notice the nervousness in other people,
Yeah.
and started to notice that if I manage it properly, they calm down and they start
Exactly.
opening
Yeah.
up more.
Because they kind of reflect on you, aren't they, to some extent?
Yeah. So it's all a pretty gradual process. It's advancing slowly, but as you do it, and I kept doing it, I felt the improvement every day. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been hard. I mean, there was a lot of
I mean, we don't need to lie. The guys know that this is work. This is for guys that are really serious about their
Yeah.
personal development. If you're not serious and it's easy, then in a sense everyone can do it. Everyone can do it, but I find everyone won't do it, as you said, because they don't want to face their fears.
because it's hard. I mean, you get the days where I come home with rejection. You come
Yeah.
home with not having spoken to anyone,
Yeah.
or and it feels bad. But in the long run, even rejection starts feeling good because you've actually taken action.
Yeah.
And you've actually done something about it.
But as you said, you start reframing your perception of what rejection is. It's no longer rejection.
Started this.
It's gone quick, hasn't it? It's been a year.
It's been really fast. And it's been really exciting just to focus on this aspect of my life and
Yep.
get it solved. So 3 months ago, I've met this wonderful girl. We've been together since, so she's my girlfriend. So it's taken me about 9 months to get from someone who had social anxiety, who was afraid of showing his true self, showing
Yeah.
to people who he really was. From that to someone who's actually going on dates regularly.
It's incredible. It's
as a
amazing. It's
girlfriend.
inspiring.
It's definitely
So
is.
in
And,
9 months, all these changes.
and I'm proud of myself because
Wow.
I was, as I said, I was determined to get it done. I thought it was going to last a lot longer than it actually did. And
So
I think that's
you're happy with what you achieved in the amount of time.
definitely.
Because lots of guys will be concerned about the time. They think they're not going to make it in time. But most guys don't actually do anything, so they sort of never achieve
Yeah,
it.
they never achieve it.
So 9 months is not really a long time to make the
It's-
changes that you made.
I was ready to take 2-3 years at this stage. But I think what's really important is that a coach like yourself, it's actually a big shortcut to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because in the past I had tried stuff, I had dabbled in, improving myself. But
did you ever have coaching before me?
No.
No.
Oh. But when you dabble, you're not fully committed to what you're trying to do.
You get that back. You dabble, you get the results back of dabbling, which is not much.
Yeah. So when you have someone like yourself, which massively helped me to improve, it's the results you can get are really, really impressive, and I'm happy that I did it.
What were the things about my coaching that you liked? My personal sort of touch to the coaching. Any things that you liked that I did?
Well, I like the fact
that you found helpful.
Yeah.
Because the teaching, I kind of vary my teaching according to each person, what I feel they need and they'll benefit from, of course. And obviously what you ask for as well. If there's something you want to work on, you'll ask me.
Well, first of all, I like the fact that it's very personal, and while we're doing the coaching, we're building a relationship.
Yeah.
So it's not just.
That's what's really nice to me as well. That I grow and I make friends with you guys as well. It's really nice. I don't think I could teach if it wasn't in that fashion. So.
Yeah, exactly. So we're talking, we're exchanging ideas, we're laughing, we're having fun, and all the while I'm progressing. And that's one of the things that actually made it really fun to do these sessions.
Doing the coaching.
Yeah, that's why I came to you for the second six weeks, because it was so much fun. I just want to be a part of that again.
No, that's really nice.
Another thing is the fact that you're very practical.
Mm-hmm.
It's very practical. I mean, I think we've all seen videos about people explaining a blueprint on a blackboard about what it is to pick up girls.
Yep.
And it doesn't. I felt it. I don't know how that can help anyone. Whereas what we were doing, just walking down the street, talking to people, going in bars, talking to girls, approaching, practice. Everything is very practical, and it's the best way of doing it, because that's the reality of life. You get to feel the life.
You get to
feel the people to which you're actually interacting. So that's a massive
so the practical
game
element.
changer. Yeah, the practical element is.
How did you find doing the street, the daytime stuff? Because we've done a lot of nighttime stuff. On the second half of the program, we went into clubs, and I remember saying to you, you asked me, and I said, it's really the same. You just be yourself.
It's the same.
You just adapt to that environment, which is slightly different, but you don't change yourself to fit the person. But you do adapt, you calibrate, as you said.
Well, I could say that the street is actually harder. So if you learn it on the street,
yes,
you can do it anywhere else.
That's what I found.
Because on the street, you get people are in a rush. People don't always want to talk to you.
As you said, you get reality, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't get someone having a drink, being loud. You kind of get their real personality.
Exactly.
So you're catching women in their real self. They haven't got a chance to hide or fake it, which is great for your growth and to experience that.
So if you manage to attract women in this situation...
Yeah, you've not cheated, you've earned it.
Exactly. And you can do it anywhere. You just learn to be yourself in the real world.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
So how do you learn to be yourself? Because when I say it to people, a lot of people on YouTube, they get offended by that when I say that. They get challenged. They think it's too simplistic. How do you be yourself, Sylvan?
You're right. I mean, I think I used to be one of those people that got offended.
Yeah.
And I think saying being yourself...
Because people don't understand when when you go...
It's a bad word, I think. It's a term that we use because we don't have a better term for it.
Yeah.
Because it's not being yourself. If you will, it's about being your best self.
Right.
Or being your open, vulnerable, powerful self.
Mm-hmm.
And
I call it I like the word the authentic self.
The authentic self.
Authentic
yeah,
self.
that's a good word. So it's not to say that I'm myself in a sense that I'm that shy, nervous, anxious guy.
As you said, that's not even your real self anyway.
That's not even your real self.
That's just what you're playing because of conditioned fear or whatever you've experienced to make you behave that way.
So I think the quest is just finding the path to your true self, to just
facing fear,
facing your fears, facing everything, and just becoming a much more powerful person.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what we mean by being yourself. It's being the most powerful version of
yourself. Last question, did this teaching improve other areas of your life?
Definitely.
Because I know that you're interested in business, you're
Definitely.
interested in growing your own business and doing stuff like that. So how has that helped?
I feel like I'm being more honest and more direct, and I'm not afraid of asking for what I want.
Right.
In my workplace, it has helped massively because all of a sudden I start feeling more confident in myself, in my skills, in what I do and what I represent. And the results have started showing. People have started appreciating me more and giving me more attention, giving me more credit for what I'm doing. And as well as my social life, I've gotten more friends since then, and I feel like I can interact with people a lot better.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of work to do, that I'm not negating that I still have a lot of progress to do in all these aspects.
I think that's exciting to share with the guys. You've made these amazing changes, but you still have to manage fear and maintain it.
I still have to manage fear,
and it's the same for me, I still come from a place of social anxiety, so there's still sometimes I have to manage it as well, in new situations and challenging myself with public speaking or bigger stuff, so it makes it exciting.
Exactly. So I think we never stop learning. I definitely have a lot more to learn about everything. But it's, first of all, what's important is that I've learned the method. I've learned to know that if I focus on one thing and just keep at it and just do what needs to be done, regardless of the fear or whatever other feeling I have, I'll know that I'll progress. And I've also learned that if I'm being honest, and if I'm being open, and if I'm being my true, powerful self, my authentic self, how you say it, people are gonna appreciate
They're
me.
going to reciprocate that back.
And we can build something more.
Last thing I want to talk about before we finish, this has been brilliant, about rejection. How do you handle rejection now if you get turned down by a girl, or in your life if you feel that you've had rejection? Does it affect you the same way?
It's quite fun actually. It starts being fun after a while. In a sense that it's more about the experience and not about getting the girl. So it's more about...
I think it's back to what you said earlier, it's about the act of you doing makes you feel good, because you're doing what you want to do, regardless of what you get.
And you can have fun being rejected, and I started doing that.
See that, guys? You could make rejection fun.
Yeah, it's actually fun.
That's it, mate. Brilliant. I really appreciate it. I love working with you, Sylvia. Pleasure, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. All right, pleasure. Guys, like and subscribe. Enjoy the process. And if you want to get my help, go to www.johnnyberba.com.